that, there's a list, and it's a total of 43 books. Were these books that you would have ordered had this policy not been in place?
Yes, because the law is very specific as to what the content shouldn't be.
I'm looking at the list, and the reasons for not buying the book, apparently, one says title is about pregnancy. One says review mentions his maternal grandfather was arrested for child sexual abuse. One mentions that it's steamier than a cup of hot cocoa and just as sweet. This one says that it is both an indictment and reflection of the unjust systems that allow instances of sexual violence to go unpunished.
What's your question?
One says it's inconvenient, this one I love, review mentions it's inconvenient for the newlywed sex life that Gifford spends every dawn to dusk as a horse. I find it kind of, another one says the title is about birth/labor. And a couple just say one of the topics includes young adult fiction, social themes, dating, and sex. So we're in effect banning books based on very sketchy, seemingly innocuous descriptions that just mention sex. Is that correct?
That the challenge is a challenge. It is challenging to identify possible content that might not comply with the moratorium, which complies with the law, the proviso that it says you shouldn't have sexual content in a book.
So are you buying
it's
books
hard.
first and reading them if we make
I
a
will tell you,
decision?
you can't read books before you buy them. These are all new books. There's occasional replacements. You can't read new books without purchasing them. That's always a selector's challenge, which is why we rely heavily on reviews of peer-reviewed journals, of authoritative lists and authoritative other organizations, bestseller lists. There's a number of things that a selector will do if they've seen a book that they're interested in to try to understand if the content is right for your community, if the age range is where you would put it. There's a lot of factors that go into just selecting a book. And then when you're talking about sexual content and the law that talks about basically penetration is part of the definition of the law. So if there's dating and sex, we can't tell what that's gonna mean. We can't tell what perhaps an educational book could mean. So we're trying to sort this out right now, like how to best identify.
Because the title mentions pregnancy, we know that kids will know how people get pregnant, so therefore it's a banned book.
It's not a banned book, it's a book that we have questions about, and unless we bought it, we're not gonna be able to identify it.
But in fact, we're banning the book.
Terry, this all centers around proviso 27.1. So under new business, I'll just add proviso 27.1, and we can discuss it further.
That has to do with period material. We're not saying these things are period.
We're doing our best guess as to what books we would buy that may not comply. There's no formula to help us. It's
Okay.
it's all subjective in addition to.
I have a motion coming out of this. And you don't have to write it down because I've got a copy of it. I move that the director of the York County Library instruct her staff that each month the current list of book titles the staff has been prohibited from purchasing be displayed in a prominent manner on or near the circulation desk of each branch library, of every branch library. That's my motion.
Okay, is there a
Do I
second?
need to repeat it?
Is it the book list itself? Is that what you're
Pardon?
saying? Are you talking about the list?
Talking about books that the staff has been prohibited from purchasing.
We're
We
displaying the
display a
books.
list of these books,
The list.
the same list basically that you provided us. Which, you know, is
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
You could, remind y'all, you can second it without it even liking the motion, you just get it out for discussion. It's a courtesy to do
Okay, without a second,
that. Okay,
motion,
that's fine.
the motion.
All of a sudden, they don't like transparency, okay. It's convenient.
After you get a chance to write that.
Okay. I was gonna clarify, your clarification, I'm gonna look at, a better layout of that chart.
No, that's, all I wanted to just make sure it wasn't a monthly chart versus a total, year-to-date total. That's-
Yeah, right.
So I'm totally comfortable with that.
Does anybody else have a question? Comment?
Dennis's question relates to what this covers. Is that what you were asking about?
Yeah, the mobile printing
Okay.
basically is just, year-to-date numbers. There's no comparison technically, because we didn't have the record last year, so this is just year-to-date. It's at the bottom of the first